wanted to walk around in circles, stack everything up. Didn't always have the best eye contact, get very zoned in his own direction. And then throw, at that time, tantrums, fits.
He's about 2 years old, and he's not talking. He had about 5 words we could understand.
Other signs were social isolation, really not desiring to be with other kids her age.
So I started to suspect there might be something going on.
Autism primarily affects a child's ability to communicate and relate to others. Other symptoms include a tendency to repeat words or actions and restricted and repetitive interest or behaviors. A child with a diagnosis of autism can have interests that seem very narrow or unusual, like lining up their toys or just staring at an object. They often insist on following specific routines, and small changes will upset them. They may be very sensitive to noise and experience other sensory issues. These symptoms of autism can range from severe to mild, and that is why doctors now call it Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD.
So Autism Spectrum Disorder is what we call a neurodevelopmental disorder, which means that it's a disorder that starts off at childhood and as the child is developing, and will mostly manifest by the time the child is in grade school.
I don't know that we had a sense of what autism was, other than that we feared it. You feared that you had this beautiful, healthy 2-year-old child, and then suddenly they don't smile or they don't look you in the face.
In first grade, within a month, his teacher took me aside and asked me if I thought he had autism. And I was like, I do, but nobody's listening to me. The doctor, the kindergarten teachers, they just thought he had a learning disability, but that wasn't it, because he's actually very book smart, very academic.
When we were having difficulty with the school servicing him appropriately, I requested an independent educational eval. And through that evaluation, he went to the University of Minnesota's Autism Clinic and was diagnosed with ASD.
It didn't come as a shock, but it was a bit disheartening. We had suspected that she had a high-functioning form of autism really since she was about 4 or 5. As we transitioned her into public schooling, we realized that we should get a diagnosis so we can provide the best services and programs for her.
There are services out there for them, and it is very important to get the child help, to be proactive, because the earlier you get the help, the higher the chances that the child will do better. So this is why it is very important for the child to have a diagnosis. And the diagnosis does trigger the treatment. Treatment starting from school, the kind of accommodation they get in school, the kind of services that the insurance company will pay for.
I can't say enough about getting those services early, is that the schools will provide free of charge a screening 0 to 3 if you have any concerns, and doctors are always available. And then for families with children that have autism, the earlier you can have that diagnosed, the earlier that they can put resources and services in place and to help you, because sometimes children with autism need different approaches on parenting.
A lot of help is available for families with children on the autism spectrum. Families who are interested in receiving services for a child with autism should connect with their local county or tribe. They will set up an assessment and support plan, which will help identify what services and supports would be beneficial for your child. Service options may include behavioral treatment, waiver services, personal care assistance, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and educational services. Your child may be eligible to receive services through the Early Intensive Developmental and Behavioral Intervention Benefit or Children's Therapeutic Services and Supports. Some of these services include one-on-one or group treatment sessions for your child, as well as training and support for the whole family. These services are provided in your own language and respect your values, culture, and preferences. Contact your county or tribe and ask for an assessment to see what kind of services you may qualify for. You can also visit your local clinic or Indian Health Service facility to get more information.
Don't be afraid of getting an official diagnosis, chances are you've probably suspected it for a few years now. Getting the official diagnosis opens up avenues of help.
Very rarely do I see our American Indian families that have children with autism reach out to the programs that have services to offer to support that family. It's the distrust that they have with the agencies that serve them, or the not feeling comfortable going into mainstream agencies that serve children with autism. The big thing for our American Indian families to know is that the resources are available.
And just know that on the front end, it's going to be a lot of paperwork, it's going to be a lot of conversations and interviews, so it will seem redundant. It's going to seem like you're answering the same questions 5-6 times on 10 different forms, and they're all going to the same agency and all of this. It can feel frustrating, and it can feel like you're drowning in a wash of paperwork and forms, but that doesn't last forever. It is all set up so that your particular child can get everything that he or she would most benefit from.
Sarah's son has received occupational therapy. She now wants him to receive supports with social inclusion.
He's done OT. We're going to add some more stuff in. Much more of his is along the social skills. He doesn't make eye contact, so they have him in a social group. He doesn't really pay attention to what's around him, or it appears he doesn't pay attention to what's around him, and really he's kind of paid attention to everything.
You know, even though you have this diagnosis of autism, you've known for a while that your child has been struggling and having difficulty. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That is the key, because the more adults that you can have in that child's life is going to help the child and help you to have that energy to be able to be the best parent you can be.
Studies have shown that the child will learn ways to compensate for their deficits. So the earlier they start to learn the right ways to compensate for the deficit, the higher the chances of being functional.
If you think your child may have autism, Disability Hub MN is a great place to start. At the Disability Hub MN, you can chat with an expert who will help you understand your options and get you connected to all available resources and services. Their experts will help you solve problems, navigate the healthcare system, and plan your next steps. Your local county or tribe may offer additional services you may be eligible to receive. These services can help a person with day-to-day activities in their home and community. Personal care assistance services include support and activities of daily living. This may involve assistance with meals, transportation, personal hygiene, and other daily activities. A person may also qualify for a waiver. A waiver provides families the freedom to choose their services they need and support their children in participating as active members of their communities. Talk with your county case manager or chat with an expert at Disability Hub MN to learn more about your options.
To have a diagnosis, it helps for teachers to understand that and to know that this isn't a child just acting out or being a brat or being rowdy for the sake of rowdiness or obstinate just because they don't want to, but something is behind this and is driving this behavior.
Your local public school offers a wide range of special education programs and services. Your child's educational team will help you create an individual education plan or IEP for your child. Special education services are even available for students who attend non-public schools. If you have concerns about a developmental delay, we recommend that you contact Help Me Grow. Help Me Grow is an early childhood screening and intervention program provided through your local school district. Special education services like Help Me Grow can serve as a bridge while your child awaits access to other early intervention services.
The 4th grade was really her first grade where she had an IEP in place and had an official diagnosis. And consequently, a credit to her 4th grade teacher, this is the first time that she has really felt a connection to a teacher and felt that the teacher was advocating for her.
When he got into 2nd grade, he had a one-on-one para, which really helped, and he had a change in teacher, special ed teacher, an excellent teacher, and worked very well, worked hard to keep him in the classroom, and partnered with me and him and his para.
More and more districts are getting Indian education services, and families might not know that because some of the services have just started in the past 2 years. We also have their early childhood family education program the schools offer. In St. Paul and Minneapolis, they have American Indian specific early childhood family education programs. In Minneapolis, we call that Parents of Tradition, and they have teamed up with the ECFE program in Indian education, so that the Parents of Tradition gives you that early school readiness, but it also provides cultural teachings and cultural parenting traditions.
There are many organizations specializing in the treatment of autism that offer a variety of therapies. Given that each child is different and has different needs, the treatment plan and services may vary from person to person.
One of the things when I think back about people that were great to work with, good resources, is they're open, they listen, and they keep the child's strengths and needs at the forefront.
You know, when he was first diagnosed when he was younger, there was a lot of problems, whether it was tantrums, and just as he's got older, figuring out the way that works best with him, because we can't raise all children the same, we can't parent all children the same, and you have to figure out how your dynamic with your child works best for them and yourself.
Lean into your community, whether that's your tribe or your neighborhood, but people that love and care about you, and just be transparent and walk this path with others. As Native people, we instinctively know that we're created to live in community and not in isolation.
Because parenting an autistic child is very hard, and you need good, healthy outlets. I was the most closely raised with my Native heritage growing up through my mother and grandmother, so it plays a big part in their life. I spend a lot of time whenever there's not school with my parents on the reservation.
When a child is born within a Native family who has special needs, like autism, they're not viewed as a stigma or something to be feared or a shame that the parent may have done something wrong to have that sort of child be born to them. No, this is a gift. This is a sacred being.
He has a brain that is wired differently, and it's okay. And we can work with those strengths, the things that they're good at. So he just finished up 10th grade. He is first in his class. Noah's math and science teacher is Mrs. Ozol, and he works with her on Clean Boats, Clean Water, which is an initiative to make sure that we don't have invasive water species going from lake to lake. You know, having a disability, any disability, is not seen as a bad thing, as something to be fixed. It's a blessing, and everyone has gifts and strengths to give.
And all of our children have blessings, and they all have skills, and they all have something to offer, each and every one of our children.